It has been a week of learning, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sutton's Days. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness, and this is not my normal backdrop, as you may know. I am in our breezeway. Technically, it's our most used entrance into the house, and we use this because this way we can leave our boots from the barn in here and not, take it through the house and stuff. But I also use it as storage for my jars and my dehydrator and a bunch of other stuff. And this was the most logical place to put the freeze dryer. So we received the freeze dryer. We have a 300-foot driveway. I'm going to take you through all the fun stuff, but our driveway is 300 feet to the road, and it's shipped freight, and so they will deliver it to the driveway, but we have to bring it up from there. So Phil took the farm truck down there and they loaded it on the bed from the truck, and then him and a friend brought it into the breezeway for me. We gave it a day to just kind of rest, which I found out they recommend, and then we unpacked it and we started putting it together. I will admit that electronics normally kind of flummox my brain a little bit, and I get worried that I'm not doing it right or I'm going to mess it up or something like that. I totally overthink anything with electronics. But this was actually pretty easy to put together. So once you get it out of the box, and it's packed great. I mean, really, really great. Once you get it out of the box with whatever else, comes with it and that you order with it, and then get it set up. I did order this cart. It's on wheels, casters, specifically for this purpose because I needed something that was going to stay here and I didn't need to use anyplace else. Currently, it's running. So if you want to know what it sounds like, that's what it sounds like, if you can hear it. This is a small. So if you were to take a larger sized microwave and turn it on its side, that's about it, okay? So we got it put together. We, figured out what hoses went to what, and we filled the oil pump, which honestly, that one's a little challenging as an older person, because it's very difficult to see in the gauge, but the bottle that they sent with it, pretty much the entire thing goes in there. And so, that's nice to know. We figured it out after we poured the bottle in. And then we did the bread run. So like with a lot of different things, from the manufacturing plant, they suggest that you do a cycle or two with bread in there. The bread absorbs any of the manufacturing, taste, smells, anything else. So we did that. Got it plugged in, got it turned on, pressed the necessary buttons, read the manual, scanned through the manual, read the manual again, and then pulled it out and went step by step through the manual to get it all going. And we did the bread run and it ended successfully. And I was kind of like, woohoo. Now, of course, we are trying this out during some of the most humid, hot days in the state. That's pretty much been this whole summer. But this is not temperature controlled down here. So it was actually kind of hot and it was very humid. And I said, okay, we're going to see how this fares, and how we do with it. Now, because it's a small, it's just a normal outlet. I have not seen anything that says that it should be on its own outlet. Maybe I missed it. I don't know, but that's something that I kept hearing. Definitely, if it's a bigger machine, that's something to take into consideration. And I still say with a bigger machine, I would have had to rewire part of the house, put a new box, in and everything else. But you do want to be cognizant of where you're putting it. This is not anywhere near as loud as I thought it would be. Nowhere near as loud. I think our furnace makes more noise than this, quite honestly. But as they go up in size, apparently they make more noise. I have been experimenting with it all week long, and I will admit that the last couple days it has been driving me crazy. I figured maybe it was just tired, because I couldn't get it to cycle. It would vacuum and then it would freeze, and then it would vacuum freeze, I think is the stage, and then it would go back to freezing because it couldn't obtain a vacuum. So I'm troubleshooting, and there, that's the nice part, is once you locate it in the book, troubleshooting, it could be a number of things, and that was super helpful because it turns out that I needed to add more oil. So if you do order one of these, that's one of the things that you're going to want to pay attention to. So as you're using it, now we've only used it four times. And then all of a sudden I'm not getting a vacuum seal on it. And so it was not progressing, you know. And I took what's in there now out and put it in the freezer, I think 3 times totally, just to let the machine stop because I was getting frustrated. So after reading through it, I went, oh. And I went down to the pump and I looked, and yeah, it needed oil added to it. So I do highly recommend that you order extra oil when you get it. Because I don't know if it's from the heat that it used extra oil or what, but the oil did go down to about half, and it's supposed to be at 3/4. So that's something to keep an eye on. And now that I added the oil to it, it's cycling the way that it should. Knock on wood. You never know. The book is very helpful, and definitely recommend reading it before you start doing anything else. Some of the things could be a little confusing. The pump can be next to it, or it can be down below, but you don't want anything right next to the machine because the airflow is on either side. And they recommend not putting it in a dirty or dusty area. So it kind of makes the case to not put it in the house because we heat with wood, you know, which creates dust, a lot of dust. So I think it's going to be best off down here, even though with the heat and the humidity at this time of year, it's questionable. So it might move here and there, you never know. But for right now, it's down here. And it has been a learning experience, but not a bad one. It was easier to put together than I initially thought it would be. Phil, you know, did all the plugging in and attaching the cords and stuff like that. The hose off on the side, let me do this. So that hose that you see right there drains. You may want to make sure that you're draining it, and you want to make sure that the end of the hose is not in the water when you turn it, when you release it. Thank you. Because instead of pushing out the liquid that's in there, it will suck up the liquid in the bucket. So empty out your container or cut it back. I'm actually going to cut it back. I have the bucket kind of pushed out away from the machine just to make sure that the hose does not go down into the bucket. But that's something you definitely want to pay attention to. It has been interesting, and I'm kind of making a list. Small is small. That's no joke. Small is small, okay? But in all honesty, even though I do a lot of stuff in mass quantity, this will make it so that I don't have to, theoretically. I'm going to see how it goes for a while, you know? And then I might look at getting a bigger one. But just to show you my pretty peppers, okay? Because these are bell peppers that I had chopped up and frozen in the freezer. And I do that all the time because we use them in a lot of different stuff. I filled 2 half-gallon jars and a quart, okay? Not quite full, but pretty close. That is from 4.5-gallon bags of peppers in my freezer. So that's what it came down to. And I mean, I honestly, you guys know, I love Thrive, right? But these peppers look so nice. But you want to make sure, to be the most effective, I think, that you do chop them smaller. I had no intention to freeze dry these when I cut them, so I didn't mess around with the size too much. And so some of them are kind of big, because on the trays, you don't want to go over the lip of the tray, because then it messes with the elements up above it. So all in all, I'm having a great week. In there right now is mandarin orange segments. Why? Because I want to see what they do. When these are done, I have some zucchini that I'm going to put in there. And then when that is done, I'm going to start on the 24 pounds of cranberries that are in my freezer. I'm going to start making room on that top shelf and getting that stuff out of there. So I'm going to be learning all along the way. I think I'm getting it figured out how to set up to record down here a little bit. It's still a work in progress, definitely. But hopefully you guys will come along for the ride. And if you have any questions or any requests, definitely throw them in the comments section down below. Another thing that I'm going to be doing is my garlic. I'm going to be freeze drying my garlic a little bit later, but I think that's going to wait till fall because with this humidity, I do not want that stench. Depending on a machine that you're interested in, I know they've got the end of summer sale going on right now. And so I guess if you're seriously on the fence, now would be the time to do it, because I don't know how long these prices are going to last. I'm assuming until the end of summer, which might be the end of the month. That's totally an assumption on my end. I'm putting these in glass jars. They do send, let's see. So they send an impulse sealer, and they send a bag of Mylar bags, and they send oxygen absorbers and the trays. And then I got tray covers, because those are handy for pre-freezing, and a second set of trays. Then from Amazon, I got silicone liners for it, so that it's just easier for cleanup, and I don't have to keep using parchment paper. I didn't use anything on the trays when I first did the peppers, and yeah, it'll make life a lot easier if you do line them like that. So I do recommend getting the liners. One thing that I did order that I have not tried yet, because that's when we ran into the problem with the freezing, was a pillow for the door. So I'll be showing you that in an upcoming video, and that comes from a different company, but it's made for the freeze dryer. Definitely small is small, so 6 to 10 pounds, I think, of food is what you do at a time, it says, and then it goes up from there. So depending on what you're looking for or what your budget's looking for, I think this is a great size machine, especially for two people who are learning not to buy a whole bunch, not buying a crazy amount and trying to process it all at one time. So that's something to take into consideration also. I forgot it also comes with an oil filter, because every 20 to 30 sessions you need to filter out your oil. I guess I didn't anticipate that I would be adding oil in between, so that is something that I'm going to be watching very carefully moving forward. There are a lot of hints and tips and tricks in the book. One of the things that it does mention is if you do have to do it in some place like a garage or a breezeway, someplace that's hot, you may want to put a fan blowing on the pump. It just helps it be more efficient. We do half the time, we don't half the time. I can't speak to its efficiency. What I will be doing this week is or probably this weekend, I'll be adding, I reached out to the company to make sure that I could, and we have a watt reader for our power, and I said, can I hook that up without messing with the warranty, without voiding the warranty? Because you cannot hook it up to an extension cord. It has to go directly into the outlet. So you need to be very sure where you're going to put it. And they said it does not cause a problem if I put it in the watt reader. So I'm actually going to hook that up this weekend and find out how much it's costing me per day to run it, because it runs 24 to probably 30 hours, depending on what you're freeze drying in there. Pre-freezing, whatever you're putting in there, makes it run less time, because it takes less time for it to freeze. So that shortens the process a little bit, but not a whole bunch. For the most part, it does all the work for you. It determines how long it's got to go, except at the beginning, if you're putting it in and you know that you're not going to be there in 24 hours for when it comes out, at the beginning, you can actually add in extra dry time, and it'll keep it running. It'll keep the stuff going good. For me, that's not really a great plan of action, but it's good if that's the way that you have to do it, so that, the food doesn't go to waste. You still get the freeze-dried food. To me, it's just not very efficient, and I'm very curious to find out what this is doing to my electric bill. So I hope to have that for you in next week's video. I'm also going to walk you through the entire process of freeze-drying something. Probably the cranberries. So we'll do cranberries in the next video about the freeze dryer. If you're interested in checking out a Harvest Right freeze dryer, there is a link down below. I am an affiliate with them, and I hope that you will take a look at it, because this right here, you guys know I loved my Thrive, but even Thrive didn't do this. And this is fantastic. So they give you the oxygen absorbers that you can use. All you have to do is mark it, put it up there, and if you want, you can put it in the bags. Eventually, I may go to the bags, because literally I'm running out of space in my pantry. We'll see how that goes. But we're going to be testing out a bunch of different stuff with this. To start off with, it's a little bit of an investment, obviously, and I know a lot of people cannot do this, and I totally get it, okay? So this is, if you just want to come along to see, what kind of stuff I do, that's great. Like I mentioned, there will be no candy in this machine, and I'm going to be very careful not to have anything that, you know, swells and explodes, because different food reacts in different ways, and we're going to be walking through all of that fun stuff coming up. But for the inaugural, do the bread and then test out the peppers and get the peppers out of the freezer, I'm happy. Next is mandarin oranges. We'll see how that goes. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the brief introduction, and we will check back again next week, showing you where we're going with this, walking you through the entire process, and I hope that you check back for that one. Until next time, everybody, be safe, keep stacking it to the rafters.